Toy giant Toys R Us just announced the chain will be closing all 735 stores. It's a trend that we've seen in other major retailers as online shopping has picked up. Toys R Us has a store on Boston Road in Springfield. The 70-year-old company filed for bankruptcy last September and announced it was struggling with $5 billion in debt. Carolee McGrath sat down with Rick Sullivan, the president of the Economic Development Council of Western Massachusetts, to learn more.
I think it is probably a bit of the sign of the times. I do think, Toys R Us is a little bit unique in the sense that I don't think it's just because of Amazon, which I think, people kind of go to immediately. And certainly that's a factor. But they've lost market share to Walmart and Target as well. And really, in the case of Toys R Us, had taken on a lot of debt, and we're servicing that, so that prevented them from investing in their stores or, quite frankly, investing in their employees. So they weren't even competitive with the employee salaries, and they were losing employees. So the shopping experience really just continued to spiral down, and so they lost a lot of the market share and ultimately had to close. But, certainly the growth in online and the growth of Amazon in particular is certainly, changing the landscape of retail, particularly with the big box.
It's just a sign of the times. For somebody like me, I like to walk into a store and buy things, but you look at all the young people and they're constantly ordering stuff, or, hey, Mom, can you order this, order that? But how does this change things as far as what we're seeing? We saw Macy's leave the area, at least at Eastfield and Enfield, JCPenney's out of Eastfield Mall. So it just seems like all of these big stores that a lot of us were so accustomed to going to are disappearing. Is that just the landscape of this business?
It is a lot of the landscape. I mean, the companies close their non-performing stores, much quicker. They don't carry the stores anymore. Certainly, the advent of online, of their own online, as well as competitors like Amazon are threats to that, which is why you're starting to see the owners of the malls look to other models that aren't just anchored with the big boxes like they traditionally were, and look to do things like even creative housing in the mall. And then have smaller restaurants and smaller boutique shops, and maybe a pharmacy or two right there, so that you kind of have almost a community there, and really have much more of a lifestyle center, which are starting to become popular across the country.
Right, and I think it's a little bit of an adjustment too for the customers who are thinking of malls not as condos or something like you're describing, but as the bigger type box stores. And a lot of malls are going towards more entertainment. With movie theaters. Holyoke has Billy Bees, which is just wild with little kids all the time. So that's another way that they're trying to meet the market needs.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think that's why I think they tend to use the term lifestyle, and they really want you to go there for the whole full experience. So it's the restaurants and the entertainment, as well as the shopping and potentially housing. So it's all kind of there. But it's also interesting to kind of see how it has all evolved, because a generation ago the complaint is that all the stores were being moved out of the downtowns and into the malls, because that's where people could go and do it conveniently, and get a great shopping experience and kind of do it all in one place. And now a lot of that convenience is online. So now you see the malls are complaining, or having to deal with the reality of losing those larger tenants, where the local downtowns have really kind of started to evolve into smaller restaurants, boutique restaurants, and housing becomes another, and smaller businesses to kind of create that foot traffic that can drive the health of a downtown. And you've seen that done successfully, certainly in the Northamptons and in Amherst. You're starting to see Greenfield, their downtown. There's definitely a buzz in the downtown in Greenfield, but certainly places like Springfield, where you have the BID and the TDI initiatives in the downtown, growing smaller business, smaller restaurants, and that's happening everywhere. Whether it's Westfield or Agawam or housing projects in Chicopee, which again is creating some critical mass in the downtown for the rebirth of the downtown with a very different model. It will not be anchored with big stores, but successful nonetheless, and really become part of the community.
So you have to embrace the change a little bit on this. How does Toys R Us, their situation, affect Lego or affect Hasbro? How does it affect that?
Well, I think whenever the customer goes, it's you have to make adjustments. I don't think it'll impact long term. In fact, you've seen companies like Curtimundi, add lines here,
Right.
Plato in particular. So there's been some growth there, and as we said earlier, you've started to see the Walmarts and the Targets, as well as Amazon certainly starting to sell. So it's just they're sold a different way, and it just shifts. But those lines continue to be popular, and we've actually seen growth there, particularly in the manufacturing side in Western Massachusetts.
And so there is a lot going on in Western Massachusetts. We have MGM, we have Mass Mutual adding jobs. Tell us about some of the flip side of all of this.
Well, I mean, this is a very exciting time, I think, to be in Western Massachusetts. I mean, all the projects that you just named, but the EDC did a study just about 2 years ago now, and we looked at all the communities, mostly in the 3-county area, so Hampden, Hampshire, and Franklin counties, and we, specifically found $5.2 billion of private and some public investments that was happening in the region. That's a big number for us, and that's real economic development. That's not, planned. This is happening on the ground in reality, happening. So it is really there's economic growth. Some of it's in manufacturing. Some of it is in the smaller retail. But it's certainly in the service industry. It's in eds. It's in meds. Certainly some of our larger employers, the Bay States and the Mercies, really drive a lot of the economy in Western Massachusetts. And we're really anchored with our schools of higher ed, all the colleges and universities, what they're doing around innovation, what they do to develop the workforce, which is the biggest issue that we have, the biggest barrier, if you will, to growth is workforce. So these are the professionals that do a phenomenal job of educating and producing the workforce, and you're starting to see them work very closely with businesses in the private sector in terms of hopefully getting that talent to stay here locally, because this is an exciting time.